Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Scarves and Spikes. Tyler and Sydney here with you. Tommy will be by momentarily after he gets done helping his wife change a tire. But
what a guy!
What a guy! Yeah, he's doing all the things a husband should. I applaud him, despite being on the phone with AAA to make it happen.
Yeah.
No. I mean, look. If you can get anybody to change your car tire for you, that's a pain in the butt. If we're being honest. It's no fun changing tires, but
it really is.
For.
Yeah, you look like you got the glasses, you got the Hawaiian shirt or the tropical shirt today. For those listening, you're ready for vacation, right? You got your sippy cup. Sippy cup. Your straw. You got your great
on the Cars and Spikes.
The sippy cup. You're going on vacation, right? You're going to be gone for the next few weeks, starting this weekend. What's going on there?
Yeah, I will be out. Yeah, exactly, Omar. I am out for vacation. I'm the team's out of playoff. I'm done. I'm going. No, we're going to be in the Caribbean for a little bit, so I will be living my pirate life, and
nice.
Then when we get back, I will be basically not coming back up here for a little bit. We'll still be in Florida, so I will be at least available after we get back from the cruise. But while I'm on the cruise, I don't care what happens. I do not care. I don't care if massive changes. You know what? Actually, this time last year, I'll give you guys a fun fact. So this is about the same week last year that we went on the same exact cruise. Last year, Carlos Bocanegra was fired when I was on the cruise. I was in Mexico when it happened. So
what will happen this year when Tyler's on the cruise?
I didn't expect, for things to be this bad this year, but here we are. No, Omar Dalla, I don't think is getting fired, but you never know. I mean, after getting 5 goals dunked on you,
right?
You just never know. So
yeah.
But
will the boat have Wi-Fi? I have to ask you that. We'll have reliable Wi-Fi, right? In case you want to watch.
I mean, technically it does, but also like I wouldn't pay for it. And even if I was going to pay for it, let me rephrase it. Even if I felt like it was okay to go and pay for it, I wouldn't do it. Because whatever happens when I'm on the cruise, I don't care what happens in the rest of the world. I am literally going to be Jack Sparrow for 7 days. I don't care what goes on in the rest of the world while I'm gone. I just don't. So
hopefully not Jack Sparrow. Hopefully not. What's the guy Castaway called?
I don't know.
Tom Hanks' character.
I don't know his name
again. Hopefully you're not Chuck Nolan. Chuck Nolan. That's his name. Hopefully you're not Chuck Nolan from Castaway.
No, that was a plane crash though.
Yeah. Well, still. So,
but yeah,
you don't want a Captain Phillips situation.
No, I definitely don't need one of those. But if things go awry on the cruise ship, I mean, at least I'm on a tropical island somewhere.
Exactly.
Not watching the team lose.
Yeah. Should we get Tommy in here, by the way?
Yes, Tommy. Come on in, buddy.
Come on in, Tommy. Enjoy the conversation.
You look confused.
I was just wondering why Gilligan was on the show with us.
I'm starting vacation early.
We hope there's not a Gilligan situation as well.
No, I don't even know either. But it might be better than what we're watching right now.
Anything related to shipwreck, anything related to anything like that, we hope that Tyler does not get involved.
Yeah. I'll take all the rum.
That'd be good.
and all the sun and ocean and everything else, but I would prefer not to be shipwrecked. But again, season's over. I kind of don't care.
Tommy, have you been on a cruise, by the way?
I will never, ever, ever go on a cruise.
Why?
Yeah.
Well, one, I can't swim, so if it goes down, I'm going down.
I mean, they have lifeboats. It's not,
but I now that was before COVID, and then remember seeing all those things where people were stuck on the boats.
Yeah. You know where
stuck on there, and then I heard something about a poop cruise. A poop cruise on Netflix. I know that is my fear. I'm not watching it. But if it's called the poop cruise, I've heard enough. I've heard enough on this. We are eliminated Wednesday.
Steer clear of those, by the way.
We are
anything involving poop, anything involving poop on a cruise, I would definitely steer away from.
I was supposed to host this, but I was running late, and I kept going in my mind like Wednesday. I was like, "What? We got another season left? Another month of the season left Wednesday?
5 more games.
Eliminated? What, Ronnie Dyla still the coach Wednesday? Like all these things in my mind."
Look, I relinquish the hosting duties. I am going to drink my drink, which you can.
It doesn't even look tropical.
You're not even
vacationing.
What are you drinking? What are you drinking?
Rum and Coke.
Rum and Coke.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have
tropical rum.
It is.
There you go.
I didn't have any colorful straws. I thought I did. I didn't. And I was even asking my wife. I was like, we used to have the little toothpick umbrellas, and I was going to throw a lime on here with a toothpick umbrella, make it look fancy. And we didn't. I ran out of time, and we apparently got rid of the toothpick umbrellas for some reason in the move. So, but it's rum and Coke. Yeah, it works. I'm getting in the spirit, right? I'm not in vacation yet. I'm pre-vacationing. As
a non-rum drinker, do you usually drink rum and Coke with a straw?
No.
Generally,
no. I did it for the bit. Right? This is actually a straw from Chick-fil-A.
Oh, okay. Chick-fil-A sponsor us, by the way.
Yes,
please. I feel like we ruined our Carnival cruise and whatever cruise line.
Royal Caribbean, Royal Caribbean, Princess,
MSC.
The cruise lines. It's not the shit.
Right. Yeah.
It's basically. I was going to do a Cuba Libre, Gray, for sure. I just the lime is out there. Children, if you're listening, or wife, please, if you want to bring a lime in here, that'd be great. But
can I tell you something real quick?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I got I'm in the beta universe of the Apple phones. So they give me, I test the betas out.
Yep.
And on Monday, what it does is if you've been away from your phone, it gives you like a summary of like what you missed. And it's pretty funny sometimes of what it can be. And I'm like scrolling through it. I've never actually looked at it before, but the first thing that shows up on my screen is MLS manager fired. And I was a good like 1 hour nap during work type of thing. And I slept through it. How many alerts are going to be on our Twitter account? And I look and there's like 2 and I go, what's going on?
Yeah.
And it's Caleb Porter.
Sorry, were your hopes let down when you saw it was Caleb Porter, or what?
I was surprised. Yeah. It was Caleb Porter. I really thought that. I thought that this game was it. I know we talked about this on Sunday.
Yeah.
From the match, and I did watch finally the second half of that match, and it reminded me so much of the Columbus Crew game that I was at in Columbus, where I think Atlanta was up 3-0, and they almost came back because Columbus just wasn't really playing the second half, and it seemed very like it played out that way. It was just like Columbus just had no interest. They were up 5-0. What could happen? I mean, it's 28-3. Who could blow something like that? I wasn't bringing that up on Sunday. Well, I was watching the Falcons with you guys.
I guess I'll go on my vacation even earlier. Thanks.
I was just like thinking about that in my head as I was watching this game. I go, oh man, this is Columbus. Like, and for those Columbus players, if they would have actually lost that game, like that is a learning lesson to that entire team going into the playoffs. Is like, it doesn't matter what the lead is, like you can lose it in a moment. And it's just funny that it happened in an Atlanta field. So
I was gonna say Matt Doyle pretty much just wrote them off for like making a deep playoff run because he's like, this defense sucks. They can't defend in the 18-yard box even with a 5-0 lead. And Schulte was even pissed off throughout the match, with some of the goals that Columbus gave up. But I mean, you could kind of
put his arm around him and went first time.
I know it feels like
the news.
No, it feels good.
No, so that's the thing though. Like, so 2 things. One, going back to what you said about Monday and getting the notifications, we didn't talk about this on MLS Monday, and I don't know why we didn't. We talked about Caleb Porter, obviously, but the tagline for the article that Caleb Pongratz wrote was this about Caleb Porter getting fired. And I quote,
"Yeah,
nobody loves him, and he forgets that we have family and our people."
Yeah. That's when I saw that, I was like, that's not surprising. Like, look, we mentioned on Monday, look at the players that are moving from New Orleans, New England to play for Bruce Arena in San Jose when he got the job over there. Bruce is like, hey, come to San Jose, help us build this project. They're like, peace out, Porter. And they're like, I'm out. But no, that just speaks to, that does always spoke to me about the kind of person that Caleb Porter was, the kind of manager that he was. I remember like last year, I think he got into it with Nick Lima, I guess, for not shaking his hand when he was subbed off or whatever. Maxi Urruti, former Russ player who was waived early in the year, pretty much said, put Porter on blast on Instagram a few weeks back after the Reds suffered a big loss right after he got waived. The article, Tyler, you're just talking about that Caleb wrote, I believe it was on Post International up there in New England.
Yeah.
It's just he wasn't a good, he won a couple of MLS Cups, credit to him for that, but I feel like his style of management wasn't what New England players jived with. And, if you're an Atlanta fan, you're kind of looking at it as, what's the atmosphere in the locker room? None of us are privy to what happens when those doors are closed in the locker room, and training when media isn't allowed, in the video room and all of that. We're not really privy to what happens, what Riley Dyla is saying, how the players feel about him. To my knowledge, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's not as contentious as it was with Caleb Porter, or at least it isn't at this point. But when they went down 5-0 on Saturday, you kind of wondered, how do they really feel about this guy to not even try? How do they really feel about each other? You get eliminated if you draw or lose. You don't even try. You don't even show up or the first 30 minutes. So I don't know.
Well, here's the quote from New England's sporting director, and I thought that it hit hard because it just listen to this and then say, okay, it's us. We feel like we have a team that should be farther up in the standings, and we're not. So it's a result-oriented business, and that's why we had to make the change. Because they asked him why they didn't wait till the end of the season.
Was that a draft of Chris Henderson's press conference that he was working on for when Dyla got fired?
Paste, guys.
No, isn't it?
It's really copy-paste, but the expectations in New England are completely different than what they are in Atlanta. And that's not a dig at New England. That's just the way that it really is. Because, I mean, you just look at the dollars spent on this franchise across the board. Players, facilities, management, I mean, stadium, all of that. Like you throw so much at it, and there's nothing there. And I saw Zilson here, and I saw a tweet that he had said, just my biggest fear is going into next season with all three DPs and the same manager. And we've been talking about on the show, like at least what you hear coming out of Chris Henderson is that he likes the three DPs. Obviously, the one that's been here the longest, maybe a little bit more like makes sense. Maybe he leaves because he's been here a little bit longer. Alexei Miranchuk has turned it up over the past couple months. He's been better than what he has. He's been scoring goals, and maybe not creating as many, but still he's scoring some goals. So okay, he's not going. And Miguel and Latte Lath are very likely not on their way out.
Right,
so then it's just it comes back to it. And this, I think, was right at the end of the transfer window, I think, when Chris was talking. What Zil's saying here, didn't Chris say it's a results-oriented business during the summer window presser? Absolutely, he did say that. because I think Doug asked him that question, like, is he safe here? And that's what we've all been wondering. And I don't know. I've just been sticking to this for a while. It's just this franchise takes their time. They take their time with things, and
the whole organization. It's not just Atlanta United. I mean, the Falcons are the same way.
It's the it's the Arthur Blank group or whatever.
A&B, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they do is they always go out. I mean, most of the time, it's not always, but they usually go out, get a firm to help them get the names together. But that took months last time. We've said this before, but if it's, you haven't listened to us in a little bit, but I mean, it took them. We were on a search firm watch just as long as we were on for a manager watch there, because you weren't even on a manager watch because you knew that they wanted to go find the firm first here. And MLS, it's just everything is so short. Like as soon as your season ends, and last year it felt a little bit different because you ended up sneaking into the playoffs. And then you had that extra, 3 weeks or whatever it was to get through those best of 3 and then the Orlando game. And then you go to sleep and you wake up and it's January 1st. And now we're talking about everybody starting to show up to preseason, getting the gang back together, and it's preseason. And that's what worries me here, is because 2 months could go fast here. And I think we've seen when they try to rush things here, and Ronnie got hired, and I know it wasn't like a huge rush, but still, you've got players. You got a lot of players that are on their way out. So obviously, they're talking to the manager about what type of player they come in, because obviously a Ronnie Dyla guy came in here in this last window. So if it's him, I mean, I guess there's no problem, right? I mean, because he's here, and that's the decision that's made, and they're going to bring more players in to help him out. Great. But if it's not, and it's October 20 whatever, and they announce that he's out, I'm going to be such an asshole on that show that day. I'm going to be so angry.
Yeah. So I just want to just real quick jump in and say, you're talking about the use of the search firm. I mean, that works with the NFL, right? Because you have only 32 openings, and there's not like global leagues, global American football leagues, where you can say, hey, I want to talk to XYZ coach in London or somewhere like that who coaches an American football league. Soccer's different. It's a global sport. I mean, there's always a manager available. I mean, except Jose Mourinho, who got hired by Benfica today after he left to Karabag in the Champions League. So he's off the table. Yeah,
are you just Benfica?
Are you just finding this out?
I mean, it's just finding this out.
It's not official as of this moment. It's not official, but Ben Jacobs over in the UK is reporting that he's going back to Benfica after he sacked their manager after losing to Karabag to open the Champions League. But like that approach doesn't. I don't know if Tyler's like this is news to him.
Yeah. My Benfica scarf I bought in Portugal is out there right now.
Yeah. But I guess my point is, that approach, and I was reading Doug's piece, when talking about when the search firm was hired. I don't know if that approach really works in football or soccer, I should say. Like, there's always a manager available. I mean, you had Jim Curtin available. You had, Gio Savarese available. Zelf in the chat saying Peter Vermees, he's available. He's a legend. He's been around forever. Why hire a search firm where you can talk to pretty much anyone you want to say, hey, we have an opening available at Atlanta United. We believe that you can take the helm of this project. You would believe that you can help our club succeed and get back to heights it wasn't at before. So I don't know if that approach timing works in soccer like it does in the NFL, sort of to your point.
Really quick.
What do you got, Tyler?
I am remiss.
What?
I'm remiss. My wife, amazing woman that she is.
Yeah.
She burned it?
No, there's other ones that would probably burn before that.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Did you find your scarf?
Yeah, she
nice.
Focused it up. She did it. She remodeled my room when I wasn't looking.
Awesome.
Threw up some scarves that needed to go up.
Yeah.
Anyway, Carry on.
Yeah.
Jose Mourinho, I'm sorry you cannot come to Atlanta United.
Unless he gets fired like in the year or 6 months or
probably
something
not
like
going to
that.
happen.
Well, and you talk about this firm, and again, we could just be talking, and it's already been decided that Ronnie's staying. But just thinking about the firms in general, I mean, you've kind of put yourself in a small group of people that you're looking for, because he wants MLS experience. I mean, that's what he said last window. Garth said is MLS experience, or one with a salary cap type background, dealing with the salary cap, because they don't want a guy coming in like Heinze did and go, why can't I get this guy? Why can't I get this guy?
Right.
And not understand that obviously you're limited in your resources here because of the salary cap. So I feel like if you put yourself in that small of a world, do you really need a firm to do that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never hired a coach besides in EAFC, which, by the way, enter our contest because we're giving away 2 copies of that. Also, Madden. I fired Dan Quinn like every year that game came out until they did. And I found another one. I found another coach easy. So if you need any help with that, I'm here for it. But like that's
virtual search firm.
Exactly. But like that's just what, like, in my mind, I keep thinking it. And look, I understand where we're at here in the season, and you've got a couple big games coming in here, which could have very similar results. Getting back to the Atlanta United season, you've got San Diego coming in here, which there's some times I watch them and they're like, I thought this team was supposed to be great. And then there's the other games. It's like, oh, there they are. There they are putting up 4 goals and looking like an offensive powerhouse. You've got them coming. You've got LA. You're going to LAFC. Then you've got Miami, who is now definitely going to need the points by the time we get to mid-October here. And then you got DC and you got New England, and also involved in there. So all these
somewhere
games,
in there.
Right. And like I think of these games and I go, okay, well, that one was 5-1 here. Do we see more of this? Could we see more of this? Because the hope was, the dream was, after Nashville was, okay, everything's cleaned up. They're not allowing dumb goals. This is good. They did it on the road, even more impressive. Then you come back to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and this guy's at a festival, and his power's going down on his phone because his phone's vibrating every 2 minutes that there's a goal allowed. Like, that's just kind of where we're at here. And that's it's scary to really see how bad this can get. But this is the one that's at home, because the other game, the Miami game's on the road, the LAFC game's on the road, but this game's at home. And after that last performance, I want to see what the crowd looks like, because there's no Georgia. There's no Georgia playing this weekend. I looked that up on the way down here. So Georgia's not playing. So you're not fighting them. The Braves season's over. Your season's over too, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean,
I want to see what the
way.
crowd looks like here. I mean, it is the first time San Diego's obviously coming into Mercedes-Benz Stadium, so that's cool. You might have some travelers coming in to check the stadium out for the first time in San Diego eyes. But Atlanta fan wise, I'm curious after that last performance.
Yeah. I think my biggest thing is, because, I mean, the conversation is going to be, and I know Ronnie knows this, but it's going to be whether or not he has a job next year, and how, if he does, what does that leash look like? And I think the one thing that has kind of been overshadowed in this whole situation is the one guy who, and I talked about this on Patreon earlier for our unfiltered video, but like, the one guy who can realistically make the decision, he is obviously preoccupied, seriously, with his health. And though everything is still going to go through him, that's a big decision to be made for a guy who is not admittedly focused on the team right now, nor should he be. So do you give Chris Henderson the power to say, this is what needs to happen, and him do it? Or do you say, hey, there are other circumstances like things that we've talked to Dyla about, as far as players maybe not being fully committed, players not, putting forth their best effort, whatever excuse, reasoning you want to make, that's fine. But like, do you give him that extra amount of time? And I think on Blue Sky, somebody had messaged back about one of the videos that we did recently about this on the Sunday night reaction show.
Yeah.
About how I said, if he does stay till next year, the leash has to be short. And the person said, like, I don't agree with that. If you keep him, you need to give him the time. And I mean, I think like it's really a crappy situation. It is a catch-22 in a lot of ways, because yeah, if you have an inkling that he's going to go before like May or June of next year, you need to do it right now. Not in like Tommy said, in October or November or January or March, whatever. It needs to be now. If you are going to keep him and you were saying, Ronnie, we believe in you, we think you can do this, then come hell or high water, you better give him every resource you have available to make sure that this team is totally opposite of what it is right now. Because right now, objectively, Atlanta United sucks.
So let me ask you this though. Like, I understand what you say about Garth Lagerwey, right? I feel like he may have empowered Chris Henderson to make the decision in the first place, though.
I mean, I think so.
I would imagine.
It's hard to know for sure.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Tata Martino.
But you say, speaking of that comment that the person made on Blue Sky, how much time do you give him in 2026? And if you do, Tyler, like you said, give him every resource available he needs to make this team succeed. I would say from a DP standpoint, you have a resource in Latte Lot who admittedly hasn't performed. You have a resource in Miguel Miron who hasn't performed. You have a resource in Alexei Miranchuk who hasn't performed consistently. Then you have 11 players who are out of contract, and the 11th, Brad Guzan, doesn't have an option for next year. So, yes, you have to give them every resource. You can't say, here, win with the same team you had in 2025. Could there be incremental improvement for the players that do continue here? Sure, but I just don't know, especially with so many players being on options, so many players being out of contract in the offseason. You got to turn it over. You got to give them players that can help this team legitimately win. And who those players are, I mean, I'm sure we'll discuss, toward the end of the season.
Let me say this really quick, and then Tommy, you jump in. Going back down in the chat, Gray had mentioned that the second half in this game at least gives you some hope that some of the players feel like they have some pride, something to fight for. And I agree. I think like there are players that do, because you can't throw everything in a bucket. There are players, I will tell you this for sure. There are players at Atlanta United right now to this day that are not putting forth the effort that they should be putting forward because of uncertainty. And that's all I'll say. And then there are players who want to be here and actually believe in this club and believe in what it is that they're trying to do. So there's your two buckets. But all the excuses in the world can't justify winning 5 MLS games in an entire season. Maybe 6 if you get lucky by the end of the season. It doesn't justify that.
Yeah, but the Falcons are going to have more wins than Atlanta United.
But no doubt. But Tyler, you say they have pride in the second half. Where's the pride in the first half? Why do you need to go down 5-0 to have pride to come back? Is my question. I don't understand.
It's happened twice this year. It's happened twice. This happened against New York.
Not 5. You didn't go down 5-0 in the first half.
I know, but like you were what was it? They were down 4-1, I think, and they won 5-4. Was that it?
No, 3-1. They're down
3-1. Okay.
3-1.
You came back and won 4-3. Wow.
But why do you
in the bins, by the way?
Yeah. Why do you need to get to that point though to show some pride? You knew if you lost this game or if you drew this game, you would be out of the playoffs. Then you come out of the locker room and you go down 5-0 in about 30 minutes. I mean, that doesn't show any pride. And yes, congratulations, you scored 4 goals to come back to almost tie it, to almost win. But why do you need to go down 5-0 on your home turf, guys, to show you care? Which is really the overarching theme of this club, I feel like, over the past however long. That's my rant. that's my that's my fiery statement, I guess.
We got to teach you how to rant. I need you to come in hot.
I don't do it a lot.
I need hot takes.
I need some practice. I need some practice.
The best way to do a rant is, like when you black out in the middle of it, that you've done it successfully. Because then when you're done, you're like, what did I say? I don't remember what I said, but I think it felt good. It felt good. It's usually you feel really good about it.
It's a mini rant. Let's call it that. Mini rant.
Yeah.
Omar, I don't know what I said that pissed you off. I don't know if you're talking about me, you specifically, or me as in like what I just relayed. But Omar, enlighten me, and I promise you I will correct it. But in the meantime,
we have a guest.
We do have a guest.
We do.
Yes.
Do. Who? My wife is texting me like, babe, the bit has gone on long enough. I'm not changing. I can't change out of this at this point. But I don't know.
I think we have Kevin. Kevin, you there?
Kevin's camera might be working yet.
Hey! Hey! I didn't mean to do that.
That was a jump scare. Wow.
Perfect.
How are we, fellas?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, great.
Back.
Good. You're just putting the kids to bed there, telling a few stories, and they're gonna. I'm telling you, any day now, these stories I'm telling them, they're gonna start calling bullshit on me, and I don't know where I'll go from there. You know,
it happens sooner than later.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, what's going on? You guys well?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it could be considered the season.
Yeah.
I want to hear a story from you, Kevin. So Saturday.
Yeah.
360. I was at a concert. So were you there?
I was.
Okay, good. Just confirm, because if you say at the end of this question, I wasn't even there this week, then I feel like a jerk. Okay, so you were there when they kept telling you we're going back to Atlanta, and it's just goal after goal after goal, especially the first half. Let's ignore the second half at the moment.
Yeah.
Were you thinking to yourself as former Atlanta United guy, oh no, please don't let it be another one. Please don't let it be another one against this team.
It was complete and utter disbelief. Like, to be honest, you were left kind of disgusted, and then out of nowhere you're thinking, where is this going? 5-2, 5-3, 5-4, and then at that point, obviously, given the way Atlanta United are at the Benz, in front of the supporter section, whomever were left at that point, you're thinking they're going to score an equalizer. This will be the first time in MLS history that a team will have come back from 5-0 down, and it didn't happen in the end. Eliminated from the playoffs. Everybody knew that was coming. Anyway, an entertaining game, but the reality is you should never ever be 5-0 down at home. That's just, it's inexcusable, quite honestly.
Yeah, and I don't know if you heard, my kind of mini rant, Kevin, before you came on, but it's just like 100%. Yeah, you should never go down 5-0 at home, but where's the pride? Where's the passion? Especially you coming in knowing that if you lose this match or if you draw this match, you're out of the playoffs. So, I was talking to the guys in the press box. I'm like, this might be it for Dyla. I mean, this team responding this way to open the match. I mean, where do you go from here, I guess?
Yeah, it's just, it's unfortunate because we came into the season. Remember, I joined you guys back in February or March, and we were talking about how wonderful to see. I said to you guys on this very show, this should be, and this is crazy to think about now, and I'm sure all of us, All Takes Exposed, would have a field day with all of us at this point when we're talking about Atlanta United, because I said to you guys, on paper, this should be the greatest Atlanta United team ever.
Hey, I'm in that boat with you, Kevin.
Think about that. Think about how outrageously stupid that sounds now. because I'm looking at the 11 thinking they've spent 50 million on the attack. If you get, Miranchuk and Almiron working together, Latte Lat will score goals. They're very confident in him, obviously. I just really expected so much more. Slish in his second season. I didn't expect this. And it's a shame, because what happens is, and I love the club and I love so many people within the club, and I'll always love the club. And you guys, I know, feel the exact same way. But it's okay to feel a loss of love in a way when things like this happens. It's okay to feel that way. It's okay to feel nearly betrayed in a way when your sports teams don't do well. That's the emotional roller coaster that we all go through as sports fans. But it's such a shame for everybody, because it just felt like this was the year in so many ways. And here's what I will say. Whatever about 2025, 2026, it is imperative that Atlanta United get back to winning ways and gain momentum at a time when we're going to have millions of people in the Atlanta and suburban areas galvanized by the sport of soccer, with 8 World Cup games coming to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Absolutely imperative. Like the club and the team, not the club, the team, the management staff and the players cannot swing and miss on 2026.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's where sometime between now and February, whatever, opening day next year, there has to be some kind of, come to Jesus type meeting where it essentially says, like, this is the biggest opportunity to grow this sport in the United States, bar none.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Atlanta United, we've all said it. We've all made jokes about it, but Atlanta United, MLS is better when Atlanta United is playing well.
100%.
And right now it's dismal. And you look at the bins, the attendance, not the numbers, but the actual, butts in seats. And like you said, it feels a little bit of like a betrayal. But going into next season, like, whoever is in charge, whether it's Ronnie Dyla or not, they have to kind of understand that there's a little bit more pressure on your shoulders, not just because of Atlanta United, but because of Atlanta as a soccer city and the capital of U.S. soccer as it stands going forward.
Yeah. Think about the amount of eyes around the world that are going to be on the city of Atlanta. It's such a proud moment. The biggest sporting event ever was the Olympics here in 1996. And yet here we are now with a World Cup and 8 Super Bowls, like 8 games that we're going to have, who knows, teams from every continent going that are going to come here to Atlanta, Georgia, that you're going to have supporters come here and say Atlanta's our base for the next 2 weeks, say, for example. So they'll go to a game and maybe they go to Blue Ridge for a few days. Maybe they take a trip to Savannah, or they head out to Athens and see what's going on there in the music scene. And maybe they just see the surrounding areas, go to Nashville. It's going to be amazing, and it's going to be beautiful, and it's going to be so rewarding for the state of Georgia and the city of Atlanta. And I just hope that when that time comes, this Atlanta United team has re-sparked something within a fan base that makes us all realize again how much we love the game at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, how much we love going to support the Five Stripes and seeing what they can do on the field. Because I don't doubt that the players care. I don't think it's that. Something just hasn't clicked this year, and it's like rapidly gone off the boil, which makes me concerned about the character within the dressing room and how they can't turn that around. Ronnie Dyla, I interviewed him back in this would probably have been May or June, I would say, for pre-Sunday night soccer game. And actually, this was the game that Atlanta won against Cincinnati at home, right? That was a victory that day, right? Against Cincinnati.
Yep.
And that was the week that he had come out and called the team soft and said several things about the team. And he was very gracious with me. He was lovely. When I met him in person, he was tremendous. And he just said, I have to at this point. I have to challenge them in all these areas. The issue with doing that is you kind of back yourself into a corner in a lot of ways, and you've said your piece. And it's like in any argument, when you go all in, or not in any argument, but in any moment where you're trying to get the best out of someone and you go all in, where do you go from there? And that's just been the challenge, I think, for Ronnie Dyla this year. The team, I wish him well. I want to see this guy succeed. I want to see the coaching staff succeed and the players, but it's fallen woefully short of expectations. If we were to said Atlanta United, by game 29 of the season will be eliminated from playoff contention, nobody would have taken that bet.
And have five wins in MLS play. That's the wild number to me. Like, eliminated is one thing, but the fact that you've, we used to come home from the press box and come home from games and fans celebrating on the way out. And it was like, all right, the season might not be great, but you have that feeling of like, man, I get to, the night is good because the team won. And it has been, you can count literally on one hand this season. Cause Leagues Cup, the Atlas game, cool. That was great, but that doesn't count. It was a useless game anyway at that point. The fans haven't had that feeling in a long time. And that's a struggle. That's a bad place to be.
Yeah. But I do think the right moves, whatever they are, in the off season, you remember how galvanized you felt at the start of this year, and it's been that way in other years. I remember, was it 2021 when Gabriel Heinze took over, and the feeling of optimism around the entire club was there. So that can happen fairly quickly with a few right moves. And then it's about the players performing on the field and making it happen.
Well, and you go back to the winter, and you knew that there were significant changes happening. You brought Miguel Almiron back. You saw the videos of everybody at the airport welcoming him. Record transfer, Latte Lath, new manager coming in. But even go back prior to that, like, you got very lucky that you got into the playoffs at the way that you did at the last game of the season. Beat Montreal, beat Miami. So, I mean, the lows could have been very low.
Yeah, but I still, man, I love Rob Valentino. For me, is just he's just all heart. And when you feel that, when you see that, and even from speaking with Rob myself at times, it's infectious. And there was something about that with Rob that I felt he'd turn it around. In those moments, he cares so deeply about every single player. And they did. They turned it around. They eliminated Messi in Miami. The record setters from Supporter Shield success with 70, was it 73 or 74 points? They eliminated him and created a great story, and I talk with Dax all the time about that in the studio. And so it was, whatever decision was made behind the scenes, fair enough to move on from Rob and go with Ronnie. And I hope they turn it around. I don't know what's going to happen in the offseason, though. It's crazy because with results like that, I would never expect the coach to be back with results like that. But if they see the future and they say, no, we need to give him time, and I respect that. But you got to get it right, though. That's the thing. You got to get it right. Whatever decision you go with, I respect it for now. Don't play around in 2026 when a World Cup is here.
Well, and that's what I'm thinking in my head, is because, you were able to make these changes. And so when Mercedes-Benz Stadium opened in February, people were excited because there was all these changes here. And if you go into next season, you don't have a DP, you don't have 2 DP spots open unless you move some players out. And it sounds like Chris is very happy with the DPs that he has right now. And if you go back with Ronnie as the manager, the question is, how do you get the fans excited? Because it feels like they've been burned a few times throughout the past couple of years.
Wins.
It is, but still, you got to get them in there and at the beginning here and get them excited for the season. And I don't know if they're going to be able to do that without being able to bring some significant players in.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think wins, if it is status quo for next season, which who knows, quite honestly. I don't know what's going on in the head of Garth Lagerwey and Chris Henderson and the decision makers there. If it is the same coaching staff and the same group of players, largely, they've got an awful lot of work to do to show us a different set of colors to what we've seen this year. We haven't seen the evidence to suggest this group is going to tie itself together and swim as unison and make it happen. I don't know. So it's a very interesting time for a club that had the greatest launch in MLS history, bar none. The success of 17 off the field, I think, was nearly as successful as it was on the field. Everywhere you went in Atlanta, the bumper stickers, the flags out, everything about the community. I know that when I even say the name Darren Eales, it probably brings a really good feeling to everybody from Atlanta because of the launch, because the launch was so good. Darren and Carlos and everybody.
I think of billboards when I think of Darren in Orlando.
They did such a good job, such a good job. And then the success of 18-19. And I really felt like it's a weird one because on my notes for MLS 360, Atlanta playing Nashville a few weeks ago in Geodis Park. And I wrote down on my notes that for a lot of people, and I know I can speak for a lot of fans, I've spoken with people about it, they nearly see that fixture, that game, Nashville versus Atlanta, as some sort of a curse, like the game that nearly reversed fortunes in early 2020. because the team had come off obviously an Open Cup and Campeones Cup win. Joseph, they're leading the game, right? And Joseph tears his ACL. They win the game, but COVID then hits, and it just felt like the fortunes were reversed in that moment. Which is silly to say that in a way, but it just felt that way. So that's what I was thinking when I was writing down my notes on 360.
One question that Gray had in the chat, and shout out to Gray. Obviously, he pretty much is a walking encyclopedia of Atlanta United 2 and Atlanta United Academy knowledge. But he's asking what players, you personally, would you build around to get Atlanta back on track in 2026? So, wondering what your answer to that is, and who do you feel can be kind of the cornerstone players to help get this team back on track?
I think I'd be lying if I said any of them right now. I think Jay Fortune, when he's played, is someone that you're like, okay, you've got core connection with the club. You love the club. You've come through the club and you understand the fabric of the club. Jay is the first one that comes to mind. After that, I don't know. I don't really understand the moving on of Noah Cobb and Morales. For me, I don't really understand it, given that there were two young players that understand, again, the fabric of the club, which I think is so important. When you look at Seattle and the success that they're having right now, and I know obviously Atlanta's leadership has many ties to Seattle, Christian Roldan and Alex Roldan and Paul Rothrock coming through, and the list goes on of players that are part of that team that absolutely understand what it means to represent the Seattle Sounders. That's very important in my mind. Go back through legendary teams, whether it's Barcelona under Pep, Sir Alex, and Manchester United. They had so many homegrown academy players for both of those teams, for example, the great Bayern Munich teams, that get it. That's so important within a dressing room. When other people start to take their eye off the ball, that a local is able to stand up for the city of Atlanta in a moment that counts and let them know how they feel about representing the badge. That's important to me. I don't know how you guys feel, but that to me, when I think about football clubs and I see Seattle, and if you're asking me right now to pick an MLS Cup winner, I'm probably picking Seattle right now here in 2025, because they've shown me that in a real crunch moment, they have winners that understand what it means to play for the team. And I think that, the team obviously in 18 that won had experienced veterans from within the league. Parkhurst and Laurentowicz jump off the page straight away as guys that understood in the moment what it meant to represent the city and the club, and obviously try and be a champion in the league. Yeah. Darlington Nagbe, I always leave him out by mistake, but Nagbe understands the situation, So I want Atlanta to have that close connection with the city, and that comes with players coming through the club, representing the club. But in all of this, I have to be careful, because these players have to be good enough, and you can't just grab onto a local who may not be good enough for the first team level to start week in, week out. I just felt that those two players in particular, I'm intrigued to see how they do now. I'll always be keeping a close eye. I know Cobb, I've spoken with his parents before when he was first breaking through, and I was calling a game back in 22, I believe. Obviously Morales is representing Bolivia on the international scene, so it's it's an interesting time. I don't know if many players jump off the page right now as those guys I'm leaning on to build a team around for next year, because they haven't shown us that in 2025.
Let me say this real quick, and then I know Sydney's got an MLS question for you. I will always go back to, at this point, I don't even remember if it was earlier this year or late last year. I think it was late last year, but the Rooted in the Stripes video with Noah Cobb in the locker room.
Yep.
And I actually think it was Brad, of course, you expect that. I think Dax. Yeah, it was last year. It had to be Dax. And then Noah Cobb in the locker room after a really rough game. And Noah Cobb, the young guy who, born in Chattanooga, grew up in Atlanta United, steps up and says, like, hey, what are we doing? And that's what you want to see out of your homegrowns. And yeah, I agree with you. Like, if a player's not good enough, just because there's a connection there doesn't justify keeping them. But Noah Cobb is the one that I'll always go back to over the past 2 preseasons and into the season, who you can look at and say he did a lot more good than he made mistakes. I mean, he's young. He's going to make mistakes. But you have veterans out here that are doing the same exact thing. And I think that connection is something that has to be built upon, because in MLS, salary cap, everything else. We can get into the weeds of it, but the cheat code is your academy. If your academy can
100%.
produce the talent, then you're a step ahead of everybody.
Yeah. And everything, look, everything you guys always say, everything I say, everything the fans say, from it comes from a place of passion and love. And that's where we all want this team to do well. You said it earlier, I believe it was you, Tyler, that said, like, MLS is better when Atlanta United are playing at their operatic high note. And that's the truth. When Atlanta United are playing well, stadium's packed, the Benz is one of the most iconic places to watch a game in all of this planet. And it's just so much fun to be there when the place is bouncing. So we all want to see this team return success. And that's why when you think success and the current group, they don't go hand in hand right now. So you've got to figure out which ones can you lean on. What sort of player within the league can you go and get? That's where I'm looking, right? And you don't want quick fixes, but at the same token, like I said, in 2026, you have to capitalize on the momentum of the World Cup and the amount of people that are going to be here. And in the build-up, come here early and head to an Atlanta United game in May, for example, to check it out. Like, that's the sort of thing that we're going to have so many kids, their earliest memories of sports in their lifetime will be the World Cup in 2026. And it's crucial that Atlanta United hit form at the right time and regain a little bit of that mojo that we've seen in the past.
I always think of when MLS was on ESPN, and the commercial that you would always see during every other sport was when they were advertising MLS, is they would show the conference finals with the entire stadium tifo, 70,000 people at that Benz against the Red Bulls. And that was the advertisement for MLS. It was Atlanta. It was that stadium preparing. And like every time I would see that, I would just get tingles, because I mean, that was the coolest thing I think I've ever seen as far as like an entire stadium thing. And it's like, okay, 70,000 people showed up in the United States for an MLS game.
Yeah.
And they all got together and did this great thing. And now, like we talked about last week, the cameras were showing people walking out of the stadium 30 minutes into the game.
Yeah. We were showing it on 360. We obviously show all the goals on 360. So we're going back to the stadium again, and it's 5. And this hurts. It hurts Dax, because Dax was playing 12 months ago.
Yeah.
And it hurts him because he knows a lot of these guys. And he didn't like that for Jaden Hibbert, who's a young goalkeeper coming through, who's had to pick the ball out of the back of his net 5 times in the first half, so it's tough. So it all, like, any criticisms come from a place of love, where you just want this whole organization to be back motoring again with a bit of a swagger about it, like the team had in the early years.
No, absolutely. And hopefully that day is coming sooner rather than later. So, well, I'll take a wider lens view. I mean, you're obviously in the MLS 360 studio every week with the crew. And I got to ask you about the Supporter Shield race. I don't remember a race this tight in recent years. I mean, you have, 6 teams within 5 points of each other at the top of the Shield standings. Of course, Miami is 8 points back of Philly with 3 matches in hand. So, I mean, who knows?
They have it in their own hands if they want it.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm going to ask you, can you remember a Supporter Shield race, this intriguing, this tight as it is right now?
I can't. I can't at all. And I think like Sasha Kleshin is a real MLS encyclopedia. He said he doesn't think a Supporter Shield race has ever been this thrilling, has ever been this close. I'd love to get the take of someone like a Jason Longshore on this as well. That's been really studying the league since the beginning, because I don't think it's ever been this close. And here's the thing. No one has a clue how this is going to play out. Like, there's not even one team genuinely that you'd say, no, my gut says they're going to see it through, because, Philly and San Diego lost at the weekend.
Yeah.
So we thought on wrap up the week before, we said this is edging towards a 2-horse race, and then they both lose, and Minnesota go and put on a show in San Diego and win by 3-1 and scoring from the halfway line on his MLS debut, Triantis. It's just an amazing race that could absolutely go Cincinnati's way because of the type of goal Evander scored and the momentum that will give them late. Cincinnati are a better side on the road, as are San Diego right now this season. San Diego, 3 of their remaining 4 games are on the road. And I could see them going and winning all of those 3 games on their travels. One of them is against Atlanta, right? So it's fascinating. It's going to go to decision day. I'm convinced of that. and MLS 360 is going to be absolutely bonkers. It's going to be the place to be because we'll have live standings up the whole time, bouncing from game to game.
No, I bet. One team, just comes to mind too, Charlotte. I mean, 9 in a row on the bounce here. It's just incredible to see how they've really come out of nowhere, especially with the summer that they've had, selling Ajaman to Derby County. Just incredible.
Well, they've upgraded in Toklamati, and that's the truth. I mean, Ajiman, I'm a big fan. I loved what he could do at Charlotte, but the way Toklamati is scoring goals, 11 this season, and he was a super sub the odd time for Ajiman. Sometimes he wouldn't even come in. And he looks like the real deal, to the point where in studio they said the way he attacks the ball at his height is very similar to Joseph with Atlanta, in how he was so good in the air for his height. Charlotte, so what is it? 9 straight games now with wins. They go to New York City. I think Charlotte have a bit of a dilemma on their hands, though. Pep Biel is back fit and available again. And in his absence, Pep Biel, an MVP candidate earlier on in the season, they have a really hard work in midfield with Gianni, Bronico, and Westwood. Vargas has been playing great on the right. Zaha has been next level on the left. Toklamati's been superb up front. They don't want to mess that up. Like it's one of those things where you try and mix that up a little bit by including Pep Biel, maybe instead of Gianni. You take something out to add something. And I just wonder, is that something that Dean Smith's willing to risk at this point in time? It sounds ridiculous to say that Pep Biel wouldn't start for Charlotte, but why mess with a winning formula? And he's got a bit of a conundrum on his hands.
Real quick, who wins the Shield?
I told Sydney, I haven't got a Scooby-Doo. I have no idea who's going to win. Genuinely, if I was taking a guess, I'd just be picking a team randomly.
Yeah.
And I think like at the start of the season, we said, well, San Diego or a team from the West will probably, not at the start of the season, we never would have said San Diego, but let's say LAFC or Seattle. A team from the West will probably win it because the East is stronger. Well, in recent weeks, the West has been stronger. We've seen Orlando slip up, Nashville slip up in recent weeks and not look as convincing. Cincinnati, before the win over the weekend there, had lost their previous 3 home games, 1-0. So teams from the East were starting to drop the ball, while teams from the West, LAFC with Sun, Seattle, excellent since the Club World Cup, until last night against Miami. So I don't know, is my honest answer. And I think you'd be a fool if you emphatically said that you have a reason why one team is going to win, or just an absolute genius.
So we didn't bring you on here to do a eulogy.
Sorry about that.
So I'm glad we didn't. Yeah, I wanted to get to the fun stuff. I'm doing a bit, by the way. Like that's why I'm glad. I'm going on vacation.
You're sitting in your house. What are you doing?
My wife was like,
glasses.
Hey, she's like, you can't do this while Kevin's on. Like the bit has been bitten. It's over.
He had no buttons buttoned before you hopped on. He buttoned up for you.
I was ready to go. All right. I'll give you this fun fact before I go on vacation. 2010. I mean, there were a few others, but 2010, the LA Galaxy won by 1 point in the Supporter Shield race versus RSL. Now that's just 2 teams. So you can even go back to 2018 and Atlanta and the Red Bulls. Like that was
a
one
won on the final day.
Yep.
Yeah. But I mean, gladly they
2 teams. We're talking about 7 teams right now.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what's so wild about this year. Like it very well could come down to decision day. But I guess from an MLS perspective overall, and you've given kind of your opinions on Supporter Shield, but when we know historically Supporter Shield doesn't necessarily determine MLS Cup. They don't always go hand in hand. Who do you think through the playoffs, the playoff format that MLS has, who do you think realistically has that best opportunity to go all the way?
It's curious because I've just said moments ago that San Diego, a better team on the road. They've won their last 7 road games. There you go. There's those pretty eyes.
Yeah.
San Diego look like they're going to have home field advantage, obviously. Top of the West right now. So you start to look at that thinking, who's really good at home? Who, like Philadelphia at Subaru Park, nobody wants to go there the way they play. I think LAFC have a little bit of momentum. Defensively, there's still some concerns. With Sun and the momentum that they have, they'll be really difficult to beat. Right now, I think, it's incorrect, but I think it's, as it stands, LAFC going to Seattle. So for the first game of round 1, so Seattle would have the home field advantage. Like that's a playoff series I don't want to try and predict. Even though Seattle are probably the team, if I had to pick one team to win MLS Cup right now, it's probably Seattle, because they've got arguably the second best coach in MLS history in Brian Schmetzer. I think he's at that point where we can talk about him in that light now. And they've got a fortress in Lumen Field, and they know how to win. Christian Roldan is a winner that would probably start in every single team in Major League Soccer. In fact, I'll take out the probably. I think he'd start in every single team in MLS. And I'm a big fan of him for the national team, by the way. If anybody watched the Club World Cup and watched the Seattle games, Roldan against top opposition, I thought he stood out and he was next level. And he's a winner. He's a real winner on the pitch. So they Obed and Christian, for me, are the best midfield tandem in the league. And I don't think I'd look beyond Seattle. But in saying that, again, to counter my own argument here, is that I don't think Brian Schmetzer knows what his best 11 is. And I don't think it's his fault. He has such a deep squad. He's had a lot of guys out, but a lot of guys are returning now. Jordan Morris, Albert Rusnak, Nuhu came back in against Miami last night. He's got such a deep squad. But that's going to obviously come good, you would think, in the playoffs.
Is it crazy that we just really haven't, like, I know the situation they're in, but it's just absolutely crazy that, like, Miami has really not come up at all in this conversation here. I mean, we looked at this like a month ago. They win the field,
right? Like,
yeah, they had so many games in hand.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, they're going to breeze through this. I know they're in the middle of the standings, but they're going to be up at the top, before we wake up the next morning.
I'm trying to see here.
I
think that's still the case, that if they win out, I might be wrong on that now. Let's see. After not much has changed from last night because they won. So 49 points, Philadelphia 57, and they've got 3 games in hand. So yeah, if Miami win out, they win the Shield. Yeah. It's not going to be easy. Lots of midweek games. They have a very thin squad right now. You look at last night, certainly without Suarez, but without Segovia and several others. I don't know who's going to win it, guys. It's just a toss-up right now. But we will let this play out and enjoy it. Don't jump to conclusions. When I was part of WWE, Corey Graves and I used to always joke with that saying, just let it play out. Like, stop trying to ruin the story. Just let it play out, and let's enjoy it as it goes on.
There is a fan fiction being written right now in our Discord where Atlanta and Miami play, and that is what knocks Miami out of the Shield race.
Wow, that's October 11th.
Yeah.
The ultimate game of the season.
That'd be a great birthday present for me that day.
And then obviously Miami go to Nashville on the final day, which is a great game too. Nashville will still be competing, you'd think, for a top 4 place. Yeah, it's going to be great. And I hope you guys, as fans of the league, as opposed to just Atlanta United, will enjoy it as it plays. And I hope more and more, that's where we need to get to with MLS fans, like across the nation and Canada too, is that you start to enjoy the league as a whole as opposed to just supporting your team.
We need to get you on one week because we're doing an MLS. We've actually been doing it now for, I think, right at a year now. We started it near the end of last season, but an MLS show on Monday. MLS Monday.
It took a long time to come up with that name. Well, a very long time.
Yeah, it's very, very creative.
Definitely Tyler come up with that, right?
Right.
Yes, it was all me. If you can't tell by the shirt, I draw in blocks and circles. So
no, anytime, guys. You know where to find me. Happy to.
We appreciate it, man. Obviously, always welcome. And at some point, man, we're gonna have to go have a beer down here.
Oh no, I'd love to. I'm looking forward to. I've got in an hour from now, I'm back out on the pitch again. So we're playing men's league. Played my first 90 minutes in about 10 years in an 11-a-side game on Sunday when I was back, which was great fun.
You're about to go play
9:15 kickoff tonight.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yo, you got to go stretch.
Up in yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh man, I'm 40 now, Go
do your thing, man. I hope you win. Let us know how it goes.
Fellas. Thanks so much for having me as always. All right.
Thanks, Kev.
Chat.
Pleasure. Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
I couldn't do that.
Dude, I cannot imagine going to play a game at 9:15 at night. I'm like, no, I'm done at that point.
I couldn't do 90 minutes. I couldn't do like 5 minutes on the pitch at my shape. So yeah, cheers to Kevin. I that was a really interesting conversation. I mean, Tyler, I know you said it wasn't meant to be a eulogy of Atlanta United, but still is really insightful. Obviously he's called the matches, since year one before he went to season pass, but really good to get his insight as someone who really knows the club, who has covered the club for so long. And yeah, it's just, like I said, I hope it's sooner rather than later that this team can get it turned back around, especially with.
And it's like he said, it's from a place of love.
Exactly.
We're not saying this stuff because we freaking don't like the team. I actually really like the team. But
and selfishly speaking, when the team's good, I mean, we get more traffic. So.
yeah.
So.
Sure. But like, look, we'd be doing this if there was nobody watching.
What's up, Tommy?
It's interesting that he said, like, Dax. I mean, he was here just for a cup of coffee, and you can see how emotional he gets about this, this team, and obviously knowing what, I mean, his friend Brad is doing here on his probably his last season, what he's putting up with, and obviously getting to meet some of the kids on this team, and obviously feeling for Hibbert, having to allow 5 goals and a half there. It's anyone that's involved in an organization they could look at. Now, some people, when they leave an organization, they say F the organization. We've seen some players that leave Atlanta United that said some things on their way out.
Juju?
Yeah, or go to the gulag, whatever you want to talk about. But I mean,
look at New England right now. We were talking about it earlier.
Yeah, right. I mean, it could. At least it's not New England, like Tyler said.
Yeah, but like I see the fans, I see what Kevin says, and what everyone's saying here, and it's just the chat is going to get louder with this if the results are going the way that they're going to be here. And the later, if this happens later, it's just my energy bar for that episode when it happens, because it's gonna happen at some point. Hopefully, it's after he retires and there's 3 MLS Cups in the cabinet. But if not, that energy bar is raising. And I've made this joke before, and I remember somehow it turned dirty, but I'm not doing it today. I'm staying on good behavior. But it's going to be a duh moment for everyone going, why wasn't this done 3 months ago? Maybe it was a little too early 3 months ago. Maybe. And Connie here has been in our chat and very angry about Rich McKay.
Yeah.
And I see Rich McKay, and when I see that, I just go, oh, the Falcons. And now I forget that. Like, I remember the day that they actually said, like, Rich was like going to be kind of involved with Atlanta United, but like, and not like a huge part. But man, when I saw that, I remember the tweets that came out that day going, I'm sorry, what?
It's not Rich McKay's fault, though. I mean,
well, you need someone to blame.
Yeah, okay? I mean, that's
you need someone to blame. And as a Falcons fan, I learned it was Rich McKay. That's the guy that you go and you just blame it and scream at the sky there. But
blame the janitor.
Arthur Blank loves Rich McKay, and it's just like, here, go over there. But it's going to be an interesting another month, because we have just about a month left here. And we're gonna see some things, what I know we're wrapping up here, but like getting into San Diego, I just think of this match and say, okay, well, yeah, they responded very well in the second half. Okay, game state, whatever you want to say.
All right.
But what I'm thinking here is okay, what did you learn from this game? If you come back out here, I think Zilf put like San Diego's going to put 3 up in the first half. Then you learn nothing. Then you learn, well, yeah, I guess anything's an improvement. Anything's improvement besides 6. Yeah. But like, did you learn from that? Did you come out more competitive? But like, I guess that's what I'm looking for, because last time my expectations were high going into this game, because you won in Nashville. You didn't go you didn't
embarrass yourself.
You didn't allow silly goals. You were able to be competitive in a game that maybe you shouldn't have been competitive in. But you did, and then you come out, and I'm praising the defense, and it's 5.
Yeah.
So where do you go from this game? And I think again, this is just fan fiction in my head. I think that all eyes of the front office are on this team now to see how they react to getting completely destroyed. Because it's still like I understand you scored 4, but you still were completely destroyed. They allowed you back into the game. That's like a basketball game, like where you go up at halftime by 30, and you're just playing your bench, and the other team's still playing their starters, trying to get back into it. Like that's kind of the scenario of what it was here. But I need to see something, because if they completely get wrecked in this game, or look completely lost, I'm gonna just keep getting more upset every episode, every Sunday. I'm gonna get just a little bit more angrier.
Just respond. I mean, like, you're not playing.
Make
for
it sound
anything.
easy, man.
Well, I know, but maybe in a funny way, like with there being no pressure on the team, they'll actually start to play better and give you something to hope for 2026. But I mean, that
would almost piss me off even more.
No, right? I mean, but that's, listen, I mean, that's, you want to see something over these final 5 matches, starting with Saturday against San Diego, that says, hey, you know what? There's at least something that we can build around if we go into 2026. As we go into 2026, I mentioned, the players who are on option years. I mean, you're playing for your jobs, or you've been playing for your jobs for weeks, though. And
they might want out.
Yeah, right. No, but like, I mean, you're right. I think some of them might want out, and kind of to Tyler's point, some of them may just be laying down because they know that'll get them out of Dodge here. But for players that have self-respect, players that actually care, players that actually see themselves as a serious football player, they're going to want to come out and say, you know what happened in the first half against Columbus is absolutely unacceptable, not just at home, but anywhere, and maybe take something out of these final few matches to build on and show that, hey, I can be maybe a small part of what this club is going to do in 2026. Because like Kevin said, you can't do this when the World Cup is coming to town. I mean, you can't do this ever, but 2026 is going to be such a pivotal year in soccer, biggest year in soccer history for this country. And imagine if your club is putting up performances like that.
Well, I mean, that's 100% it, and that's why I just keep going back to. It's like, how do you January 1st hits, right? It's you wake up, it's World Cup year.
Yeah.
Like you wake up January 1st, it's time. It's time. Like this is it. Here's the commercials on television that are showing World Cup, World Cup, World Cup. The World Cup's coming to Atlanta.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, there is 16,000 fans at Mercedes-Benz Stadium because Atlanta United lost 5-0 to Montreal. Like that's what you don't need here. And I wonder how this front office, and when I say front office, I mean the PR staff, which does a fantastic job. I will say, like their videos that they make, Rooted in the Stripes, all of that, like all of those are fantastic.
Making crap into gold.
How do you spin it? How do you spin it into next year when you spent so much time this past off season hyping the fan base up for, again, as a year where everyone, all the MLS announcers that we had come in before the season started and hyped this team up, that said, it could, like Kevin, this is the best Atlanta United team in history, and we're the worst Atlanta United team in history. How do you turn this and get fans hyped, get fans to buy tickets, so you don't have to make a 2-for-1 special at the home opener next year? How do you get me to buy a plane ticket to fly in for the home opener to be excited for it? And it, for me, it's a little bit different. I'm flying in for it, but like, how do you get someone to go and just in the city of Atlanta and say, you know what, let's go to this opener? Because unfortunately, we've seen just a lot of fans on Twitter and Facebook, and if you go to the dark web known as Reddit, I mean, it is people announce their departures here, and to be honest with you, some of the people that have announced their departures have been a little bit shocking. And if I'm if I'm the front office, I mean, some of them are very popular people on social media, that tweet about Atlanta United all the time, and I'm like, you're losing that person? Oh, we lost that person? Like, I know it's just one person, but like, those are your heart and your soul of this fan base, and now they're not showing up to all the games. Like, that's where it is. So, we'll see what happens here. Quick, what is our predictions for this match?
Tyler, you go first. What do you think? You'll be on a boat. What do you think, prediction wise?
Well, I won't quite be on the boat yet. I'll be preparing to go on a boat, but I mean, I gotta just be straight up. San Diego is the most fun team in MLS to watch right now. They're right there on the edge of the Supporter Shield. They're going to look at this as an opportunity. There's blood in the water against Atlanta United for sure. This is a chance for them to snag a very, very important 3 points for their Supporter Shield race. So they're going to come in hot. I think this has every bit of a 3-1 San Diego.
I'll give you mine. Yeah, you have an MVP candidate. Excuse me, MVP candidate and Anders Dreyer, who is a terrific player, one of the best players in the league at this point in time. You have Chucky Lozano. You have several other players on that team who have really contributed to how this team has played. CJ Dos Santos, I mean, not the best keeper in the league, but a really good keeper, really good young keeper that they were able to add to their team. And, you know, just Tyler Heaps has done a tremendous job building that team from the ground up. And Mikey Varas has done a tremendous job gelling this team and putting them in this position to win a trophy, win a Supporter Shield in their first ever year in MLS. Whether that happens, to Kevin's point, is anyone's guess, because this Supporter Shield standings are just so compressed right now. That being said, you know, as good as they've been on the road, as good as they are, you know, just overall, I think it's going to be 3-0 San Diego. Atlanta may be able to give a little bit better account of themselves as they did against Columbus. That's a low bar, but yeah, I think it's 3-0 to San Diego. Don't give up 5. But yeah, I think San Diego 3-0 to get another 3 points. Tommy,
I think it's gonna be a fun game. I think it's gonna be 3-1, but then Atlanta's gonna get one there in the 87th minute, and then we're gonna be going. Can they tie the game again? Be the exact same situation. But spoiler, they do not, and they lose 3-2. I do think they come out a little bit better. Man, Rich McKay, whatever Rich did to Connie here. Now Connie went from easy win to 21 to nothing.
She is very anti-Rich McKay, to say the least.
Well, Gray put 7-0, and then Connie was like, "Hold my beer."
Right. Yeah.
We're gonna multiply that by 3, and here we go.
Right.
And Colonel says this is clearly 4-2.
Right.
And just I know Colonel put that we're there for every match. Absolutely. I mean, there's quite a few people we've talked to. I talked to Mark. I know he's talked about, like, he's not giving up his founder status, and it's not everyone for sure, but like, you do have to make that tough decision at some point with what you do with your money and what you do with your time, and your time is money. And that's what a lot of people, I think, really come down to is a combination of, do I want to spend time going to these games and spending more money beyond the tickets? You know, I need to get that brisket mac and cheese that's there. That is a life-changing experience, that when you have those, I mean, there's just a lot with it. And whatever it is, don't criticize them. It's their decision to make, and to go from.
I said it the other night. Like, I mean, my family's been able to go to a lot more matches this year. Like, we don't have season tickets. I can't afford them. I mean, like, I have 4 kids. It's just not what we can do.
Right.
They've been able to go to more matches this year, partially because the team has not played well. So ticket prices are cheap. And I love that they're able to go, but then I get stuck in this catch-22 of, like, I almost feel guilty when they go and they see the team suck. Yeah. You know, like, these are, like, look, like, we used to be much more of a Falcons family. Like when my oldest two were growing up, it was all about the Falcons.
Right.
All about the Falcons. They can tell you the story of 28-3. I promise. You know, and we've always loved the Braves, like Atlanta sports in general, but like none to the degree of Atlanta United. And like my entire family loves this team. And so like when they come to a game and show up and they're decked out and they're cheering, like legit cheering. I will say Stella was there for 3 of the 5 wins this year, by the way, and two draws. So, so there's a little bit of luck going on, but no, it does. It makes me feel guilty because I'm like, dude, what are we doing? Like, these are games that you should be winning. And I get sports are sports, and like games happen they're you know, they go differently than how they're supposed to. But man, you've got so many other opportunities for sports and things in this country, in this state, and you want to grow the game of soccer in Georgia. And Georgia has, and this is coming straight from people at the club, multiple people at the club. This region has some of the best talent in sports in general, not just soccer, but sports in general, of anywhere in the United States per capita. That's a fact.
SEC.
And
SEC.
Yeah, exactly. But like, this is, you know, we're putting out a product that out of 30 games, you can win 5. And that's not okay. It's not acceptable in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, like when my family, representing, I think, a lot of the fan base, comes and sees that kind of performance, it's like, dude, what are we fucking doing? So it's irritating. It is frustrating. And like what Kevin said, next year, you have to get it right, or you're going to lose the biggest opportunity to grow selfishly Atlanta United, but also the entire sport in the country because of the World Cup. Don't screw this up. The pressure's there. Own it and make it better.
For sure.
Real quick before we go, Atlanta United 2, 4 matches left. Guys, they are 5 points out of the playoff spot. Like I said, with 4 matches left. They have a match in hand with the teams. Match in hand on the teams ahead of them. Crown Legacy Saturday on the road. Back home finale September 24th against Chattanooga. On the road against Chicago on September 28th. And season finale against Chattanooga FC on October 5th. Very good chance that Lady United 2 could make the playoffs and get 5 points back of the Carolina Core, 4 points back of NYCFC 2, and then 4 points back of Orlando City B. So quick shout out to Atlanta United 2 on good form right now, guys. So Atlanta United 2 could be going to playoffs for the first time in club history. Good.
Yeah, and I actually think they do it. And if you go back and check out the goals. It ended up being 4-2, but it was a really good game up until Carolina kind of took off with it at the end of the second half. But like, go watch the scorpion kick goal by Weah, and go watch the golazo from Santiago Pita. Like, the 2 goals that Atlanta United 2 scored in that game were literally goal of the week contenders. Like, they were in the list.
Up the 2s.
So yeah, I mean, I think they can make it for sure.
Positivity, baby. That's what we need. We need some positivity. Get your young team in there. Get them some experience, because we might need quite a few of them.
Yeah,
next season.
Yeah.
But I think this is just a good time just to say, thanks for everyone for sticking around for this part, the remainder of the season here. We're hopefully get some fun things planned. We still have our Waffle House episode that we're going to do. We're going to do it, damn it.
TBD.
We are going to do it. I was texting Tyler earlier, Sydney. I was like, maybe we should just do this at the end of the year, like have a Waffle House party at the end of the season. Like we could all go there. We could all go to our respective Waffle Houses, celebrate with some hash browns with nothing on them. And
no,
or not.
I'm sorry.
That's going to be a part of this episode, is you learning how to order hash browns.
I don't, but I also don't want to be part of the running into the Waffle House bathroom. So now we're back. Now we're back to the poop. Now we're back to poop cruises at the beginning of the show. Hit the music, damn it.
Well, before we do that, we gotta mention our contest again.
Yes.
Yeah, throw it in the contest.
EAFC 26. Instructions are pinned on Instagram at Scarves and Spikes, and on X, Scarves, the letter and Spikes. While you're there, follow us. Follow us on social media. I'm at SH Wrights. Towns at ATL Pilgrim. Tommy, where are you again?
Tommy at the Falcons won on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
Tommy ATL 96.
I should have said I'm on.
That night.
Should have said I'm on SidH.soccer, Instagram, and Threads, and SH Rice on Blue Sky and X.
I always forget Blue Sky exists, to be
Yeah,
honest with
it's
you.
around.
There's so many apps on my phone, and then I see it and I click it like once a month.
Oh yeah. By the way, it's still there.
It's still there. Mastodon's still there. Pterodactyl, Triceratops, Dragonzord, all of them. All the different apps are there that are named after Power Rangers.
By the way, Patreon backers get extra entries. Go to patreon.com/Scarves and Spikes. Support us there and get access to our Discord, Tyler's unfiltered video, like, share, subscribe videos on YouTube, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeart, where you can find an audio version of this show. We're live every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, so join us live if you can't. Again, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeart. iHeart still exists, by the way, Tommy.
He knows everything I'm going to say. By the way,
yes.
Before we hit the music, Tyler, you used a lot of lines that I use. Oh, Atlanta United's better. Or the league's better when Atlanta United is good. I hear you stealing some of my lines. I hear you stealing some.
I mean, it's not like we don't spend like 6 hours a week together.
I know. I just was like,
yeah, there's probably a little bit of
little Tommy lines. I'm just checking here.
Yeah.
All right, hey, I'll give you credit for it.
You can have them. Just $9.99 every time you say it.
Charge him a royalty for every time he steals your line.
I'll put it in the Scarves.
I did see this Instagram video today. I started following this guy about how he sends random videos to people on Cameo to get them to say like crazy things and all that. Got something planned, guys. Got something planned.
Okay. Can't wait to see it.
Well, Tyler, you might be on a boat, so we'll have to send it to you.
This might be a surprise.
Maybe come back next week. I might have something fun.
Okay.
Sweet.
Can't wait.
Big shout out to Kevin,
as always.
Much.
See, he got hit with
this is
bug.
a common thing.
Every time.
One of us, whenever we play the music, gets muted.
Yeah.
But this is my time to shine.
Go ahead.
Oh, I miss Kevin in WWE, man. I really do. Like, I'm happy for him on 360 on there. But man, if he could have pulled off both, I love him on that show. He was good at what he did.
Yeah. It is a killer job for sure.
He does good at everything.
Got the energy, man. That's why I felt like I had to like almost apologize for being like, I'm sorry Atlanta sucks, and you had to come into the show and like be depressed. Let's talk about something fun.
Lighten the mood a little bit here.
For sure. All right, well, we'll be back on Saturday. Maybe.
Yeah. I'll
for
be
sure.